Hello you guys, and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah and thank you so much for joining me today for a what I eat in a week video. In the past, I've done a few what I eat in a day videos, but I like this idea of the what I eat in a week concept because when it's just one day, you don't really know if that's fully representative of the whole week or of, normal daily life for whoever you're watching. So I thought that doing the what I eat in a week could be helpful from a big picture standpoint if you are trying to meal plan or you're just looking for more new, healthy, easy, delicious recipes. So that's what I am going to be showing you guys today. We're gonna cover breakfast, lunch, which, spoiler alert, are pretty much the same things every day, different snacks, dinner, dessert, all of it. So I'm gonna be going through my week and I'm gonna be lumping these by category because there is some repetition for sure in terms of some of the things that I'm eating each day, in addition to some really yummy recipes that I hope you'll consider trying out. Also, about 5 or 6 of the meal ideas that I'll be talking about are actually featured in my cookbook, Eat Simple. This cookbook came out in May, and if you are interested, I actually will put links down below. Basically, the premise is there is a collection of basically a list of 30 ingredients, and all 65 recipes in the cookbook can be made with some combination of those. Done are the days where you have to, buy very specific ingredients for one use and then never use them again and they clutter up your pantry. I don't want that. So that's kind of what the premise is of the book. They're all healthy, delicious, plant-based. So I hope you'll give that a try. I know many of you have already told me that you have been enjoying the book, which makes me so happy to hear that. And like I said, you can check it out below. I did also enable some more payment options. Before, I had it just set up using PayPal, which is convenient for some, but I understand that some of you don't have PayPal. So for those of you who might have started an order and realized that PayPal was only the acceptable thing at the time, maybe the new payment options now will help you out. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, currently for breakfast, I am eating about the same thing every day. I make my favorite matcha smoothie. I call it a matcha latte, but really it's a smoothie. I blend up bananas, some vanilla protein powder, some matcha green tea, some almond milk, a little bit of stevia for some extra sweetness, and it is delicious. Sometimes I add some ice cubes if needed, but this is a great start in the morning. I find that especially when it's still pretty hot out, I want something refreshing like that. And because of the protein powder in there, banana, it helps keep me full. I do pair that many days with a Larabar. You guys probably have heard me talk about Larabars in past videos. I do typically eat about 1 per work day, and my favorite flavor is the chocolate peanut butter version like I have here. Most days I do also eat that for breakfast. I actually am very lucky to carpool to work, so I get to be the passenger. So I'll usually eat my breakfast in the car there, but some days if I'm not too hungry, I'll just eat the Larabar a little bit later on. So those are really great options for me for breakfast. And assuming I'll do another one of these videos in the future, in the winter months, you'll see that I switch over to oatmeal because it's a lot more cozy. I don't want to drink a cold smoothie when it's 0 degrees outside, so definitely seasonal breakfast items. For lunch, I usually keep it pretty simple. I'm pretty busy teaching during the day, and because I'm so engaged with things that are going on, I don't usually feel that hungry. So it's more so kind of like snacks that I'll eat at school. So around lunchtime, I'll usually have like an apple and or banana. Sometimes I'll have carrots and hummus. Oftentimes if there's leftovers from dinner, I'll have it, but nothing elaborate. I really don't make big lunches anymore. Then when I come home from work is when I have more of a lunch style meal. But I do have 3 favorites that I enjoy. I think my number 1 favorite, although it's the least healthy of the 3, is to have an everything bagel toasted with some hummus and sliced cucumber or sliced tomato. That by far is one of my absolute favorites. For the longest time, I hadn't had everything bagels, but then we bought some and it's like, I don't want to go back. Like, everything bagels are just so good, and toasted with hummus and cucumber is a phenomenal choice. I might top it with a little black pepper as well. So definitely recommend that. That's a super satisfying lunch, late lunch, after school snack for me. I also really enjoy making some homemade spring rolls. Not the fried ones though. I actually purchased some rice paper just because I wanted to try it out because I had seen a lot of other people making recipes with those. And in each one, I just filmed a little clip here of assembling them. In each one, I get the rice paper wet, and then I put in a block of tofu, a couple cut up pieces of cucumber, shredded carrots, and lettuce, and then I fold it up. It's not glamorous, and I usually fill it up with too many things inside, but those pair really well with a homemade peanut sauce. For the homemade peanut sauce, I'm using peanut butter, some maple syrup for sweetness, some soy sauce for the saltiness, lime juice, and if I want extra peanut butter taste, I'd add a little bit of peanut butter powder, which I just bought to try it out a little bit. I'll also add some water to dilute it a little bit, but that's kind of how I make the sauce. And between the two of them, it's really good, and it's perfect for an after-school snack too, because it's very filling in the short term, but then I'm not too full from my snack that I can't eat dinner. So that's also really nice about that meal option. Another favorite after-school snack of mine is to do yogurt and berries. Now, with this, it's frozen berries that I thaw because typically buying fresh berries is too expensive. With that in mind, I did actually recently discover a yogurt by the brand Vega One, and you've heard me talk about how I enjoy their protein powders, but I really like this yogurt. For some, it's probably a little bit too sweet tasting. They do actually use stevia and monk fruit sweetener instead of as much like sugar. So the sugar, even though it tastes very sweet, the sugar total per cup is about 7 grams. And oftentimes I'll just use half the cup with the berries and mix it in. Adding berries, like adding produce, is a great way you can bump up the volume of your food without actually increasing, you know, the unhealthy nutrients. Now, it is a vegan yogurt, but I think just with yogurt in general, I think we assume it's more of a health food than it actually is. If you're getting plain unsweetened yogurt, that's different, but for most of the flavors, whether it's vegan or not, a lot of it's just really sugared up. So I definitely really treat yogurt more as like a dessert kind of item, but since I do really enjoy sweet things anyway and mixing it with the berries, it does seem like a good after school snack, especially when I'm craving something sweet. Next up, we'll get into dinners from this week. Now, these aren't the same dinners we make every single night, but we're using a lot of the same type of ingredients. So on Monday, we made a taco pizza. We had a leftover pizza crust from Costco that we had purchased, and instead of the sauce, I used refried beans. We had a little bit of some vegan cheese left, so I put that on my side because Jake doesn't really like it that much, and then I drizzled on some like enchilada sauce, and then we baked it. After it came out of the oven, we topped it with some shredded lettuce and tomato. If we had guacamole, it would have been better, but you know, it's all good. So that was a really yummy meal. Also, that taco pizza is great the next day too for leftovers in lunches. A+ on that. On Tuesday, I still had a few leftover ingredients from before, so I actually made a taco salad, but this time I made fajitas first. So I cut up onion, green pepper. I had some soy curls that were kind of like a chicken. With that, I was able to only find soy curls online. I purchased them on Amazon, but I find that they're really, really good. The pro tip when using them, you soak them for about 10 minutes first and then rinse them before you cook them in whatever, before I added them to, you know, where the vegetables were cooking. But very, very good. Season it with some lime, some garlic powder, salt, onion powder, basic stuff. I think maybe some chili powder too. And they were really delicious. I added those to a salad with some diced tomato, as well as some of the tahini sour cream dressing that I put together. That's also in the Eat Simple cookbook. The next day, Jake and I had spaghetti for dinner, so we also really enjoy adding. Trader Joe's has some meatless meatballs, and they are ridiculously good. I, in general, try to avoid those kind of products that are more processed, but at the same time, they're so good. So we've enjoyed having them in pasta, made like meatball sandwiches. They are delicious. So I had some of that, and also Jake had a cross-country meet, and whenever he's got those like really long days, I love to have like a nice little meal I know he'll enjoy a lot at home, ready for him when he comes home. So I made that with him in mind there, and it was very tasty. I also threw in some frozen broccoli when I was cooking. You can't really tell in the pictures as much because it all just kind of like got really small, and we cooked a lot, so there'd be some leftovers, but that's a great hack. During the last 5 minutes of cooking for the pasta, throw in some frozen broccoli or other frozen vegetable, and it will cook in that time there in the water, all in the same pot. So it's really easy. We also then topped the pasta after we topped it with red sauce, and we topped it with some vegan Parmesan cheese, which is a simple recipe, but that's also coming from my Eat Simple cookbook. On Thursday, we made Tex-Mex quinoa, which also is in the cookbook. A super yummy dish here with a lot of delicious ingredients, and it's a one-pot meal, so it makes it easier. We joke around and say sometimes that Thursday is Tired Thursday, just because, you know, you've had a long week. Honestly though, I'm just feeling really vibrant this year, so I'm not feeling it as much, but I think that a one-pot meal on a Thursday night seems pretty easy. And this also cooked up enough that there was leftovers for us for lunches the next day, so that's always a win. And then today when I'm filming this, Friday night, for dinner we are having a frozen meal that I'm supplementing a few things with. So Whole Foods has these pad see ew like Thai dishes, and it's super delicious. Tastes kind of like if you were going out to a restaurant. I'm going to be adding some broccoli in it as well. To be honest, I wanted to do something a little bit more involved, but we are like swiped out of things in the house. Like the fridge is fairly empty right now. So unfortunately I didn't have too much around the house that was that exciting. We kind of keep this as a backup just if we are out of ingredients and we don't have it, but it's got some like tofu, bok choy, the noodles with the yummy sauce, and we add the broccoli in for some extra veggie. So that's a quick overview of the meals that we ate, and then now let's get into desserts. Now if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I do love dessert, but I'm definitely trying to limit the dessert and some of the added sugars. And so you'll see that there's a couple sort of hacks here that can help with a sweet tooth and satisfy those cravings, but also you'll see that there's some other more traditional desserts as well. One of the things that I have enjoyed is the brand Kite Hill. They make almond milk yogurt. They actually put together these Go-Gurt style tubes back in the day. I remember sometimes having those Go-Gurt packs. I'm sure they're supposed to be for kids, but what I like about them is that you get 8 packs for $3, so it's fairly affordable per individual yogurt pack. And also what I like is that it limits the portion. I don't ever have like 2 of those at a time, but sometimes I might just want a little bit of something sweet and then I accidentally eat the whole like small tub of yogurt, like the individual serving sizes. Maybe it's more than I actually need. This size is perfect and is just a really great thing when you need something sweet. And even though, like I said before, I don't think yogurt's necessarily a health food, it does have some of those probiotic cultures in it. So for a dessert, it's a little healthier than your standard dessert options. I wouldn't put it in its own like health food category though. I also do enjoy tea, and sometimes that can be a good way to sort of like have a dessert kind of, even though it's not actually dessert. I really like Rooibos tea, which is like a vanilla type tea, but I also had this chocolate tea from Numi, and I really like this brand. Unfortunately, this one does have a little caffeine in it, so having it after dinner is not always the best choice. I was up till 2 a.m. the night before filming this, which was not planned, but I feel like the tea might have had something to do with it. So definitely keep in mind, you know, about a caffeine-free option if you are thinking about having this later on in the day. I also did purchase some blood orange sorbet. Sorbet is typically vegan with this particular flavor, since it's blood orange, which I do really like that flavor. It is a bit sour. Since it's very strong, I can only have like a couple bites. You know, normally if you give me like a pint of vegan ice cream, you know, I could probably eat the whole thing. I try not to for sure, but I enjoy my sweets. So with this, it's such a strong flavor that I don't feel like I actually, you know, need to eat very much. Just a couple spoonfuls and I'm good. And it's kind of like how people sometimes at fancy events use sorbet to cleanse your palate or whatever. I definitely see that this blood orange sorbet kind of works too, like in the citrus family. I also am a huge fan of my chocolate peanut butter milkshake. This is also one of the recipes in the book, and even though it's completely vegan and it's much healthier for you than an actual milkshake, it tastes so good. This is hands down one of my favorites to make. So I also really enjoy that. Just keeping some of those frozen bananas stocked in the freezer so you're ready whenever the craving strikes. And I also made a blueberry crisp as well, which is in the ebook but does not use any refined sugars, but still super delicious. I had to wait a couple days because it was so hot, but since it's been cooling down these last couple days, I definitely thought that making this berry crisp was a perfect idea. So that kind of wraps up this What I Eat in a Week. I would love to know your feedback down below if you are interested in seeing more of these. I know a couple of you have been requesting to see more food and cooking related videos, so I hope this was interesting. Like I said before, I have the cookbook linked down below. If you haven't purchased it yet, that's where you can find the recipes I talked about, as well as, you know, a total of 65 different recipes there for you if you're interested. And you can check out any of our past videos over here. And if you have not already joined this awesome community here at Abundantly Minimal, you can do so up here. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.